Hi there, I'm Emma at Blue Sky Philanthropy, and I'm here today to talk about the one crucial stage that your virtual fundraising event is probably missing. So if we haven't met yet, I help nonprofit leaders and fundraisers raise more 5, 6, and 7-figure gifts for their amazing missions. And I am super excited to bring you a bit of mini training today. I want to talk about something that is so crucially important as we are transitioning a lot of our traditional fundraising events online, and that is how to turn your virtual event into a fundraising powerhouse. So I'm going to be introducing you to a concept I call the event engagement path, and I'm going to be showing you all of the ingredients you need to move your audience from distracted event attendee to dedicated donor. All right, my friends, let's get started. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. Okay, there we go. So let's talk first a little bit about what exactly I mean by an engagement path. This is really a concept that is intended to identify someone who may come into more casual contact with your organization at an entry point, such as a virtual event or someone attending an event for the first time. So you could just try and leave them and sell them a ticket next year, which is the way a lot of us try and play this. Or you could be more strategic and you could really try and purposely engage them while the experience and excitement of your amazing virtual event is still fresh. So this can really look however you want. I want you to look at this as sort of a general framework you can customize to your organization. Ultimately, your goal is to create a step-by-step approach to get an event attendee more deeply engaged with your organization in some way, ultimately, hopefully, leading towards making a gift. So the more you can think about your engagement path as an organized system, that is a set of actions that you are taking that work together to get a specific result, I think the more success you will have. I want to actually encourage you to think about all of your fundraising as interconnected systems. You don't want to be leaving anything to chance when it comes to your relationship building. So the more you see your fundraising as interconnected systems, the more success you're going to have. So I'm going to walk you through a simple sample engagement path to give you some inspiration to create your own. All right, so first, I want you to start thinking about warming up your audience with your pre-communications. Chances are you're actually already doing this in some way, shape, or form, but as you move your traditional events online, there is a whole slew of wonderful best practices we can actually borrow from established online marketers. A lot of folks have been testing what really works for a long time, and I'll tell you, as someone who does a lot of webinars, you really need to be purposeful in warming up your audience and also really proactive in reminding them what's coming up and the benefits that are attached with actually attending and showing up, because that can be really tricky. Let's look at some webinar show up statistics sort of as a baseline. Let's say you are running a webinar for your donors. You can expect only about 30 to 40% of those who actually registered to show up. I suspect online events are pretty similar. So you need to be really purposeful about getting folks engaged and excited, feeling welcome, and reminding them regularly before your online event gets started. So just think about the kind of pre-emails or pre-communications you're going to be sending out as the first stage of your event engagement path. And your goal there really is to warm folks up, to let them know what to expect, and to get them excited about what they're going to experience, whether it's full-scale online event and gala or something a little simpler like a webinar. This is a really important stage for you to implement in your engagement path. Second, we want to think about what happens after your event. So what does your post email or email series look like? This is pretty simple. Chances are you may already be doing this. You probably already send a thank you after your event. I think one of the mistakes I see is that oftentimes organizations get overwhelmed by the logistics of putting on an event, and they don't actually do this in a timely enough fashion. So if you can get that thank you out really quickly, like 24 hours after your event. And again, you can queue this up actually far in advance of your event. It's the beauty of online marketing or email marketing that you can actually queue this email series up well in advance, so you're not madly, writing something when you're feeling really tired the day or two after putting on your event. So think about really in this email, thanking them, sharing your appreciation. I want to share what I see as a very underutilized channel in terms of doing this, and that is video. You can have a really great impact in terms of following up with a video thank you, either from a leader within your organization, a volunteer within your organization, maybe a celebrity that came to your event, but just creatively about following up after the event while folks are still feeling that excitement with a really enthusiastic and heartfelt thank you. And think about using a few different channels and getting a little creative and maybe putting out a short thank you video to folks who did attend your event. All right. Third stage, I often recommend to folks following up with a simple survey. And this is actually when you're going to be entering into doing a series of calls to actions or CTAs. And part of your goal with the event engagement path is to really try and achieve a series of micro conversions. If you've not heard that term before, it's pretty common again in digital marketing. And the idea is a micro conversion is just a small commitment or a small step that somebody can make that moves them towards a larger, say, macro conversion of making a gift. So filling out a really brief survey is a great example of a micro conversion. And this is something that's really easy to put together and send out to all of your event attendees, maybe a 3-4 question max survey, seeking their feedback and talking about their experience at the event. And that's your main call to action there is please complete this really quick 4-question survey. This is also a great opportunity for you to take the opportunity just to treat the survey as more of an engagement tool as opposed to necessarily being a really, qualitative research tool. So you're looking also to gather feedback from them, but to maybe do a little educating with them about what your mission is and what your different kinds of service delivery related pieces are. So it's actually a really nice opportunity to say, what's most meaningful to you in terms of the work we do. So it doesn't have to be only dedicated to getting event feedback, although it can certainly be about event feedback. But just treat that as a great opportunity to engage your audience, to get them thinking about your mission, to get them thinking about, your cause, people you help, the services you provide. And that is a very, again, not terribly work intensive way. As someone who uses brief surveys a lot with my audience, it doesn't have to take a lot of time. In fact, if you're a small shop, you can set up great surveys in a Google form. So again, don't overcomplicate this. If you've got the resources, great, but you can do this really, really well. There's tons of great digital tools available that are affordable or free. So think about working that into your post-event engagement path as well. Surveys are so powerful. Finally, and this does require a little more on the resource front, it's a little more resource intensive. So you could always think about segmenting your list a little bit and phoning folks. So again, this is a perfect time to reach people by telephone. All the fundraisers I'm speaking with are talking about the fact that it is easier than it has ever been before to reach their donors and event attendees by phone. And people are actually keen to chat. So you have a great opportunity here, whether you're calling everyone who attended your event, if that's not realistic. If you're talking to a certain segment of folks, however you may want to slice and dice that, giving them a call and just sort of seeking their advice. What did they think about the event? You know, where is there room for improvement? Do you have any advice for us in general about the next time we put on an event like this? So it can be really simple, 1 to 2 questions. You're just calling to thank them in person for coming to your event and also asking for their advice or feedback on, you know, what can you do differently next time? So your call to action there, pretty simple. You're just asking them to answer a question for you. But that phone connection can be really powerful. And actually, that is what I wanted to say. Your call to action, depending upon how the conversation goes, can actually get a little deeper here. I've done these calls and I've actually asked people, would they consider getting a little more involved with the organization as a volunteer or in another role, just to hear what they have to say back. Obviously, play that conversation by ear, but it's a great opportunity if someone seems really keen and really touched by your work, really excited about what you're doing. Great opportunity to take it to the next stage with a great call to action, like, do you want to get more involved with our work? So if you go that route, be prepared with a few different options for folks when they say yes. What are the opportunities? Just be prepared to be able to answer that, whether those are, volunteer roles, playing a part in perhaps doing some advocacy for you. I know there are many, many different ways that your organizations engage your audiences. So be a little prepared with the short list there. If you do ask them if they want to become more involved in your organization, be ready to talk about how they can actually do so. Then finally, I want to talk about getting to the macro conversion, which is actually moving them finally towards an ask for a philanthropic donation. Again, this may vary case by case, but in this situation, I would say reporting back on impact is a really important part of this process, just like with all fundraising. So you may want to talk about either what you're doing, what's happened since you had the event, what you have been doing with the funds that you raised from the event. And this is a great opportunity to make an ask, for example, for a more committed gift. If you want to go all in, you could always go for asking for a monthly gift. You could ask for a single gift, but just giving folks that opportunity to continue giving and supporting your amazing work is the final stage in the event engagement ask. And too few people do this, I find. They'll sell a ticket to something and people will show up and perhaps they will actually give at the event, but there's not necessarily a lot of follow-up, and there certainly isn't another ask queued up particularly soon after the event. So do think about working that in within sort of 6 to 8 weeks of somebody attending your event, if appropriate. Obviously, if they've made a really large gift, if they've made a major gift, if they're a new major donor, they're going to be in a completely different, hopefully, they're going to be in a completely different cultivation plan that you have for them. But this path is really great for those folks that you're a little less clear on. They're keen, they've come to an event, but you're just trying to figure out, where do they fit and how do they want to be involved, if they do want to be involved. So just to manage your expectations, this is not necessarily going to have a huge conversion rate, but what I will say is this just ensures that you are capturing everybody and giving them the opportunity to get more engaged and come closer to your organization. And you have absolutely nothing to lose in doing something like this. And the beauty of it is once you set it up once, you can actually use this with small adaptations again and again after you have events. So, and as I said, this can be customized to any sort of event. Even if you're having a webinar, a similar series can actually be used to engage those donors after the webinar, because chances are you've probably helped them learn something, gotten them excited about your work. So it only makes sense for you to follow up in a strategic and methodical way to identify those folks who do want to get more involved in your organization. So hopefully that is a helpful concept for you. I want to leave you with this one idea is I think we have an unprecedented opportunity right now. I don't know about you, but if you have a traditional offline event or gala, how often do you tend to receive the email address of every single one of your attendees? I'll say never. I know it's one of the big challenges that we face in terms of getting in touch with gala attendees after the fact. Often we may have one person's email for an entire table or one person's contact information. In this case, we have the contact information typically of every single attendee. And this is an opportunity, I think, to communicate with folks, to engage folks that cannot be missed. So that is all I have for you today. I hope that you have found this a helpful mini training. I'd love to hear what you think. If you have any questions, please go ahead and drop them below. If you've liked this mini training, I encourage you to go to my website at 𝗵𝗲𝗃𝗄𝗋𝗔𝗋○○, where there's lots more trainings, videos, and free resources like this one. So I appreciate you joining me today, and I hope I will get to see you again next time. And go and engage those event attendees and turn them into the dedicated donors that so many of them want to be when given the opportunity. All right, good luck with it.